Who is Lady Marg? So glad you asked. Lady Margaret Beaufort, also known as the She-Wolf of Wales, was the mother of King Henry VIII. She is the reason that we have the Wars of the Roses and the Tudor Dynasty. Now that's a lot of weight to bear, no pun intended. She was the matriarch of the family and arguably one of the most powerful women in England during the 16th century. Margaret was born in 1443, most likely at a family home of Beaufort in Wales. Her father, Edmund Tudor, was the half-brother of Henry VII, making Margaret a first cousin once removed from both Henry VII and his son, the future Henry VIII. As a young girl, her education was neglected, but she was well versed in the classics and could speak French and Italian. At the age of 12, she was sent to live with her grandmother, Lady Anne Neville, Marchioness of Dorset, where she received the finest education money could buy. She was tutored by the best scholars in England. At 13, she was married to Sir John Beaufort, who was 20 years her senior. Their marriage was childless and it only lasted 2 years before he died. In 1455, the Wars of the Roses began and the Beauforts were caught in the middle. They had to flee to Brittany in France, where they lived in exile for 8 years. In 1461, when Henry VII landed in England and marched on London, Margaret and her mother traveled with him. She witnessed the coronation of her cousin, Henry VII, and the birth of her other cousin, Prince Edward, the future king, Edward VI. When she was 26 years old, she gave birth to her only child, Henry Tudor, the future Henry VIII. A year later, she gave birth to a stillborn son. After that, she never had children again. In 1472, she became the Marchioness of Dorset when her mother died and inherited her extensive estate. Her cousin, King Edward VI, died in 1483 and the throne passed to her son, Henry VIII. Henry VIII and his sister Mary were declared illegitimate by their uncle, Richard III, making them commoners. This meant that Margaret and her son were now in Richard's crosshairs. She fled to Brittany, France, where Richard's troops pursued her. When Henry VIII landed in England in 1485, Margaret and her son, along with her half-brother, Jasper Tudor, joined him. Together, they marched on Bosworth Field where Henry VIII defeated Richard III, and that's why we have the Tudors today. After the battle, Margaret was instrumental in shaping the early years of her son's reign. She advised him on who to marry, who to keep around, and even helped him choose which monasteries to dissolve. She was the perfect mother and the perfect Tudor. Thank you for watching.